Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and it's probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, BOTTU, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.
Welcome back to Unfiltered Sports, where we keep it real and say what everybody else is thinking and everybody else is scared to say. Tonight's unfiltered talk and unfiltered take of the night is about heart, hunger, and who really wants it when the light comes on. Our main topic of discussion for tonight, we're going to talk about, are athletes today more talented than ever, but mentally softer than past generations? Now, what I mean by that is this generation more talented than we have ever seen before, or are past generations more talented than we ever seen before? But if this generation is more talented, are they mentally not prepared to handle the stress of playing basketball at a higher level? We look at one person in particular when it comes to that talking point right there is LeBron James. I've seen video footage personally of LeBron James where he calls himself not playing defense, where he calls himself giving up a shot that he normally would take. Is it because he's too old, or is it because he's just giving up? He's ready to be done and retire. Who knows? But let's hear your take on that when the time comes. Right? So, skill levels, that talent is at an all-time high right now. We're talking about how players are hungry to play basketball, to play football, to play baseball, to play soccer. They want to play at the next level. They are hungry. They are out there. They are prepared to take their talents to the next level. They're out there training. They're sacrificing their time with loved ones. They're sacrificing their time and their body. They're sacrificing their emotions to try and get a shot to play a game that they love so much. We see that players use technology a lot more, and the money is better than ever before. Why I say that is it's because social media is a big thing for athletes across the board. You got athletes in high school who got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, every social media platform that's out there, and they're posting their highlights on these social media platforms. And it's easier for everyone to just go in and scout by watching video footage on social media platform than taking the time like they used to do back in the day and go in person and actually watch the game in person and watch the talent in person. I don't know about you, but for me, I get a different feeling of watching someone live in person playing a game of basketball than I do just watching a short highlight film of that person playing basketball, because there's different types of game time situations you have to be put into to see how that person can react to those situations that are at hand. And that's where you call it to say, hey, this can be a great asset to my organization. This person can be a great asset to this organization. This person may not be a great asset to my organization. And I'm here to tell you guys today, too, that it's okay to make changes, but where are your priorities at? Right? We look at back in the day, I would say the 90s babies, early 2000s babies, you know, they had the opportunity to actually showcase their talent. They had the opportunity to go out there and make a name for themselves. And they did it all for free. They went through they went through college and they went through high school without even making a dime and without even really getting any recognition. But all the recognition goes to the schools and all the recognition goes to the coaches, right? But nowadays, you can get this thing called name and image likeness, where you get paid to play the game of basketball at the high school level. You get paid to play the game of basketball at the collegiate level. Like, it's crazy. High school basketball players, high school athletes in general, I should say, even college athletes in general, they're getting paid millions of dollars based off of these NIL deals. NIL has changed the game of sports. NIL deals has changed the mindset of players. Some players will come in to the game of basketball and think that it is okay to do whatever they want and not even push forward to even understand what it takes to play at a level. I think that when players and athletes in general, when they hear about name and image likeness and they hear how much money they can make out of it, they automatically think that they are entitled to playing time and that they're entitled to being a part of a team without earning that spot. You may have earned that spot on the team, but did you earn your playing time? Let's get with the times. Let's get what we deserve. And what we deserve is the respect as owners of a sports organization, as a coach, as a former athlete. You have to go back to the basics. You have to go back to the fundamentals. You have to be able to perform at a peak moment. And you have to be able to sacrifice your time and your body to prove to those coaches and those owners at the next level that you are capable of playing for their organization. No matter what sport it is, no matter what organization it is, you need to prove yourself every single day that you are worthy enough and that you are talented enough to play that game. And we do all of this for a game. We sacrifice our bodies for a game. We sacrifice our minds for a game. We sacrifice our school time for a game. All for the love of a game. Players, in my opinion, when Jordan, Pippen, Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, Dennis Rodman, when they all were playing basketball in that generation, they were built for adversity. But it was a different kind of adversity. We look at adversity today and it's situated under something completely different. When I look at adversity in today's generation of athletes that are playing, we look at how we went through COVID and that was an adversity we had to face and get over. We look at how the police brutality was a thing and how we had to, athletes had to get over that adversity as well. We have to fight for what is right, the equality for everyone. And those are different adversities that athletes in this generation had to face to jump over in order to earn a spot on a team that some people say they didn't deserve it or that they didn't work hard for. But that may not be the case. And the way adversity is handled is different by the era that you play in or that era you grew up in. Like I said, I grew up watching Jordan on the, early 2000 side, late 90s side of things, where he was kind of at the end of his career, ready to retire for a second time or whatnot. And, he still played decent basketball. He played aggressive. He did everything he could do to continue to play and be competitive. We look at LeBron James and everybody's like, oh, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He has done great things, but his lack of defense as a great player is showing that he physically has checked out. He has mentally checked out. LeBron James has to hang it up and call it a career. He is ruining the repetition of the NBA because of his laziness and talking about, well, I'm 41. I can't play back-to-back games anymore. I'm 41. I can't do what I used to do anymore. Yeah, you couldn't do what you used to do anymore. But let's look at what Jordan did when he was that old. Let's look at what Kobe did and how Kobe played through injuries. If I'm not mistaken, Kobe tore his Achilles, went to the free throw line, shot his free throws, and then went off to the side and got checked out. If I'm not mistaken, Kobe Bryant broke his finger in the middle of a game. Instead of being taken out the game, he went to his trainer and had the trainer pop his finger back into place. And then he got it wrapped up and played the rest of the game like that. But the mentality is different from when Jordan and Kobe and Shaq and all of them were playing to LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and everybody in that generation. The way the game is played has changed drastically. Everybody thinks they can shoot the three ball, so everybody wants to pull up from half court like they Steph Curry and shoot the three ball. But that's not the case. Where are the fundamentals at? Why are we showboating every single time we score a basket? Have you not scored a basket ever in your career that you don't know how to act when you score a basket? I'm not saying that it's not okay to celebrate. By all means, celebrate, but do it in a way that's going to be respectful to the point where people know you can score and that you are a true threat and that you don't need to showcase and celebrate every single time something like this happens. And before I go any further, I want to stop and pause for a moment and thank everybody for tuning in and checking out Unfiltered Sports, right? So huge shout out to everybody on the OG network, Out the Pit, Ron's Opinion Don't Matter, everybody that's been tuning in and supporting us on Unfiltered Sports. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it, right? Let's get the chat going in the comments and let's keep this conversation going, guys. If you guys haven't subscribed to everybody that's on the OG network, it would be appreciated, and I will respect you guys even more. Thank you guys, for real, for real. Let's look at time management now when it comes to athletes. How do players manage their time? Meaning, how early do they wake up? Do they struggle waking up? What do they eat for breakfast? Like what meal do you put in front of you? Because you are out there sacrificing your body. You got to put some food into your body that's going to help reciprocate the calories that you're burning, right? When I played, and I realized this, and I don't know why I was doing it back then in high school and even in college, but whenever I played a game and I was just exhausted after the game, I would feel like I was deprived of food, that I needed to run and eat food. And I would eat 3 and 4 plates of food, like packed to the top, to, satisfy that hunger that I had going on after playing a game of basketball or even playing volleyball in college, or even in football and basketball in high school, right? And so it just really, it put a lot on me. And when I played soccer, I would run a lot. So I would have to eat a little bit more than what I was used to. But, you got to be able to manage that time. You got to be able to do your homework. How much time are you setting aside for your homework? When are you practicing? When are you actually in class? When are you at lunch? When are you at dinner? When are you at breakfast? What kind of foods are you putting into your body that's going to fuel you or it's going to hurt you, right? It's interesting to really see that a lot of players these days don't really have the time management because they want everything handed to them. They want to be able to say, oh, I did this and I did this and boom. But how do you go to school and you skip out on 3 classes because you don't like that teacher, and then go to basketball and think that you're going to be able to practice and play? But we're talking about practice here, though. Practice. We're really talking about practice right here, because somebody can't sit in the classroom for an hour and a half max to learn something simple and pass the class. So they skip the class because they decide that practice was more important than being in the classroom. And they decided that their GPA was going to go down, and it hurt their eligibility to play basketball that season. Now, how salty do you got to be to just focus on your sport and not really care much about the basketball aspect in your time management? Let's look back on the generation of the 90s and the early 2000s, and how there was never really a such thing as a transfer portal. And if there was, you really didn't hear about it. But this transfer portal allows you to, after a year, you can just jump in this transfer portal and say, I'm going to play somewhere else. I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go do that. Because you don't like your coach. The transfer portal, in my opinion, is ruining college sports. Because your coach is trying to instill discipline into you, but you're being too lazy to understand that that's discipline being instilled in you, and someone actually cares about your future of being in the classroom and your education, but you're too lazy and stubborn to understand that, because all you care about is, I want to play the game of basketball. I want to play the game of football. I want to play the game of volleyball. I want to play the game of soccer. I want to play the game of baseball. And that's all you can see is a game. But let's say you had a life-threatening injury that said you can't play the game anymore. What do you have to fall back on? You can fall back on your education, but if you decide that your GPA is going to go to the wayside and that everything's not okay, what do you got to fall back on? The money you're going to spend is going to be gone in a matter of minutes, days. You never know because emergencies happen. How are you preparing for rainy days? Are you that athlete that prepares for rainy days, or are you that athlete that just goes with the flow and don't care about anything? And that's the situation. Is that this generation is being spoon-fed a lot, whereas some of the older generations, they had to work hard and play hard to get to where they're at. Social media is putting so much pressure on these athletes. So much pressure. And when I mean so much pressure, I mean like coaches are watching, everybody's watching, the world's watching. What is this person thinking about me? What is that person thinking about me? Who cares? Who cares what they think about you? The only thing that should matter is what you think about yourself. And I say this because we got AAU and we got these media people that follow these travel teams around. We got media people that go to the games and take pictures. And then, I'm not knocking their hustle because I would do the same thing. Let me charge you $150 for, X amount of photos or whatever they may be, whatever, they charge for videos and different things like that. But it's just a lot of social media presence is ruining the name of a lot of players because they want the fans to say, oh, I want to buy that jersey for that person. Oh, this person's the best person on the team. Oh, this and that. Prime example, AJ Brown. He didn't get enough passes thrown to him or whatnot, right? He didn't get his receptions that he wanted to get. He was on the verge of possibly not even hitting his 1,000 yards. But after every game he didn't get what he wanted, he went to social media, right? Or at least that's what they said. But that put a different perception on his name. It put a negative perception associated with his name. Whereas you look at Devontae Smith wasn't getting as much passes, but did he go to social media and complain about it? No, he didn't. But what he did was he played the season like he was supposed to, and he still hit his 1,000 yards without complaining. You have to have a humble spirit, but you also have to be able to decipher when you're not performing well and decipher when you're performing well. And so there's a lot that you have to put into consideration when it comes to everything along those lines. And so that's why I think I'm on the side where it's best that we get rid of the transfer portal. We get rid of, not really get rid of NIL, but put a stipulation to it and kind of just take it from there. And I really think that will really set a different standard for sports in general. And so, my input on that is just, I think that there has to be a better standard and stipulation for the NIL deal and for the transfer portal and for social media and how players are using technology to advance their careers instead of actually going out there and really working harder. Because growing up, you didn't see players with a Dr. Dish when you shoot the ball that tells you, oh, I made this many, I did this. And you really didn't see that around there. I don't even believe it was a thing. So technology has transformed the game in many different ways. And that's okay. The difference between confidence and entitlement is crazy. Because when you look at confidence, I'm confident that I can beat you in a game of basketball. I'm confident that I deserve a spot on this team. Or I have confidence that I deserve a spot on this team. Or, no, because my dad played for this team, I automatically deserve a spot on this team. Or no, because my dad's the coach, I automatically get a spot on this team. Or man, it just don't seem right because of X, Y, and Z. Like there's a lot of excuses going on, a lot of bullcrap. And I heard a funny saying that goes alongside excuses that I'm not going to say, but it was really funny and they really stink too. That's why I hate excuses, because they really stink. But if you got that reference, laugh about it, put it in the chat, whatever you want to do. But, it's really funny. And I really hate excuses, because if in my busy life and everything that I'm doing, if I can get stuff done, I'm sure everybody else can get stuff done. And so, you got to look at, like I said, I've been saying this from the beginning. Old school basketball has more grit and grind than new school basketball, because new school basketball is more focused on being in the spotlights than they are trying to grind and get stuff out of the way. And that's kind of my opinion there on that one. And I ain't gonna hit that one, too much longer. But I got a question for everybody in the chat, and I want everybody's honest opinion. If the game is getting ugly, the crowd turns on you, and your shot isn't falling, who are you trusting to close the game? Are you trusting LeBron James? Are you trusting Steph Curry? Are you trusting Wemby? Who are you trusting when your shot isn't falling to close out the game to win? Let's hear some answers in the chat. Let's chat it up in the chat. With the game on the line, the fate of the game, who you picking to shoot that ball and close out the game? Somebody said Steph Curry. I agree. I would pick Steph Curry as well. With the way LeBron is playing right now, I definitely wouldn't pick LeBron. That's for sure. Talked about washed up garbage. That's LeBron James. The way the Sixers is playing, I'll take Maxey. I'll take Edgecombe. I mean, it is what it is. But they're playing decent basketball. I might even take Seth Curry as well. But I want to hear from everybody else that may be in the chat as well watching. Who would you put to take that game-winning shot? Let's put you in the situation of that coach. With the game on the line, you down 3. Matter of fact, the game on the line, you down 2 points. Who are you trusting to take that game-winning jump shot? Who are you calling a timeout for in the huddle? Get the ball to this person. Let's isolate. Let's get them that open shot. Who are you trusting with the fate of that game on the line? That is our hot question of the day. I want to hear your answers. So as we continue to move forward, put those answers in the chat. Let's talk about it. Better yet, who you with, as Bernie Mac would say. Right? So another question that we can open up to the chat is, in today's athletic department, in our sports realm, in our sports world, are athletes in today's generation tougher or just more protected? Hit us in the comments, right, with your answers, and let us know, is this generation just plain soft or just smarter? Like I said, are they tougher or just protected? Or are we just soft or they're smarter? That's a great question. Are we just that salty that we couldn't think about the stuff that they are doing today? I like that response, soft. I like to say that the way the game is playing right now is soft, for the simple fact that I can bump into you and you go flopping halfway down the court because of something small. Hey, what's going on? Top to bottom, how's it going? You know, a little touch on LeBron James. Like I saw this clip earlier today while I was out running some errands, and I seen a video of LeBron James where he was going for a loose ball and he hit the loose ball in the air or something, and he stepped on someone and on the opponent's foot, and he literally fell to the ground flopping. And when he fell to the ground, he's like grabbing on his face or whatever, like he got hit in the face. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Like, you just want to draw attention to yourself. For what? A simple tap on the arm means that, oh, you know, he smacked me, he fouled me. Like, I watched him get smacked in the arm once, and he went down flopping to the ground, and he's grabbing his face like this, and he grabbing his eyes and everything. Like, what are you doing? Why are you grabbing your face when you got hit in your wrist like that? It don't make sense. And that's why if you start to flop, you will get a foul or technical foul, a warning first, then the technical foul for flopping. It's crazy. Like, basketball just can't be played the way it used to be played anymore. And that's a shame, because it's really, you know, a decent sport. It is a sport. If nobody knew how basketball started to be used as ministry. And when Naismith created basketball, it was just a basket with 9 players, I believe, on the court at a time for each team. And then as it started to develop and people started to play more and to start to watch it more, it developed with more rules and more structure, and it became 5 on each team. And that's where we started to see the development of a basketball hoop and how we have basketball to the way it is today. And it's really interesting to see that development of basketball, how it was used to preach the gospel, and how we know that it went from something that we thought was so small to now something so big. And now we got people like Lee Flop LeBron, who wants to ruin the name and repetition of such a good game of basketball. And it's sad that that happens all the time. I got another question that we can put on the table here is do players have an equal opportunity or equal chance to try out for a team, or does some players have a fair advantage because of the people that they know? See, and that's a great question. But in my honest opinion, I think that not everybody gets a fair opportunity to make the team, because a lot of people owe favors and a lot of people owe this and a lot of people owe that. But I don't think that's right. I don't think it's fair that you got players that go out there and they work so hard. Or we could put it in this situation where you have a student athlete who is very, very talented, but because they don't have 2 parents in the house and they struggle to make ends meet, they don't get their opportunity because they can't afford a pair of basketball shoes that fits them. And see, the crazy thing is I watched a video, and this video was on, on TV at one point, YouTube or whatnot. But it was when Giannis and his brother were growing up playing basketball. They shared the same pair of shoes, and it was like, dang, their mom could only afford 1 pair of shoes for them to play basketball, but they made it work. Not once did they complain. It just made them hungry, that much more hungrier to play the game of basketball, to make it out of their current situation so they can get their family out of poverty. Some people have a legitimate why as to why they want to play a sport at a higher level, because they want to see their family succeed, because of whatever it may be. but they have a legitimate reason why. Whereas some people, they just do it for fun. They don't care about the fame. They don't care about their name and lights and any of that crazy stuff. But who would you rather have on your team? That person that works hard, that has a work ethic? Not saying the other person doesn't, but you know, just look at the situations that are at hand as well. I just find it very interesting. But I'm gonna open this up to the chat as well. I'm gonna switch it over to football for a little bit. I know I'm salty because I knew the script had the Eagles losing to the 49ers. I'm salty about it because the Eagles should have won. But I know them Steelers fans are salty as hell too because they couldn't score one touchdown, just two field goals. Salty. We talk about salty. I'm gonna be even more petty, right? Because how you lose to the Texans? That's crazy. On top of that, right? The NFC West is the only standing division that's left in the NFC playoffs right now. To my knowledge. If I'm not mistaken, you got the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Rams, and I can't remember the last team right now that's still playing, but majority of the team that's left are just the NFC West. Yeah, you still salty. Them Steelers fans are always going to be salty. You know, y'all had a head coach that had not one losing season. Now look at that. He gone. He gone. He trying to go to Baltimore though. He gone. But I'm gonna go back to finish being petty real fast because how about them Cowboys? You know the best thing the Cowboys are good for is keeping that couch warm for everybody when they get kicked out the playoffs. That's the best thing that the Cowboys are good for because every year is their year to warm up that couch. That is. I got jokes. I know I'm funny, but it's all right, man. You know. Um, but honestly speaking, though, we look at the AFC, and I honestly would love to see the Patriots versus the Bills fight it out because I would want to see the Bills smack the living hell out of the Patriots. So all of those Patriot fans that think that they were Patriots fans before Tom Brady came along and all that stuff, I bet you some of these Patriot fans don't even know who the quarterback was before Tom Brady. So let's get that started. If you can't prove that you are a fan of a team from a certain year to a certain to current, then you consider the bandwagon. Simple as that. I'm not old enough to be following the team for super long, but I've been following the Eagles since 2004, right when they had Donovan McNabb, they had Brian Westbrook, Brian Dawkins, they had a squad. They went to the Super Bowl and lost to who? Tom Brady and those New England Patriots. But that's all right. We came back. Nick Foles got us our revenge. And who did we beat? Tom Brady and those New England Patriots. So, again, like the way football is just stirring up right now, the playoffs are stirring up. It is leaving everybody on their toes. Nobody can really predict what's actually happening. And that's a good thing. I would love to see the Rams reach the Super Bowl and try to win something. I would love to see anybody but the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I can tell you that much. Probably not the Seahawks though. I'm not really that too fond of the Seahawks. But it is what it is. Let's get these coaches that got fired, find them a new job. Let's get them some more money in their pockets. Get them out of here. Just go somewhere else. Simple. But I'll tell you this one thing that the Steelers fans, you won't be seeing the Super Bowl anytime soon. Just keep practicing what the Cowboys say. This is our year. Simple. It is what it is. Very simple. But let's remember this. Talent gets you in the building. Toughness keeps you in the building. Actually, let's fix that. Talent, it gets you in the building. Toughness keeps you in the game. But in Unfiltered Sports, we don't sugarcoat anything, like at all. We tell the truth and we keep it unbiased. So, with that being said, everybody, I thank you guys for your time, your support, all the efforts to making this show happen. I love the support. I love everything that's happening in this chat. The Eagles are the truth, and we know it. So keep flying high, fly Eagles fly, and we'll see what happens next year, because next year might be our year as well. But it is what it is, man. I can't keep saying this enough. We know the Cowboys suck. And the last time they won a Super Bowl, the thing called a VHS was in stock. You had to go back and you had to rewind it all. That's how long ago it was, man. But I can say that, if you watch the Cowboys game and you had the quarterback Troy Aikman and you had Michael Irvin and all of them around, you had a few good days. But, you had to be able to use your VHS in certain ways. But it is what it is, But, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making this the best part of the day at Unfiltered Sports. Keep doing what you got to do. And, I like this quote from the Cowboys. It's not really from the Cowboys, but, hey, Michael Strahan, how about them Cowboys? It's funny, man. It is what it is. But, the best is yet to come, especially when you need to get Jerry Jones out of that general manager seat and keep him in the owner's seat and let him do what he has to do. And that's not be a GM, because he's ruining the program. You got rid of Diggs. You got rid of, your best defensive player. But you'll grow. You'll live to learn. But until next time, everybody, you have a blessed and safe night. You stay warm and stay classy. But most importantly, go Dogs.
Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and it's probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, BOTTU, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.